Storms are never there to destroy you. Storms are there to build you. They are there to mold you. They are there to offer you opportunity to ascend to your next level of destiny in life. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Proverbial Mind channel. It's your host, Samuel Oladeji. And then in the background again is our producer. It's also Samuel. We take the time to thank you all for coming here today, for tuning in to listen to us today. For those returning back, we shout out to you and we appreciate your time that you took out of your busy day to tune in with us today. And like we said in the inaugural episode, the theme of our podcast is the Proverbs of leadership and success. That is, in this podcast, we are on a journey to build a community of great leaders, great successful individuals. And we are taking majority of our lessons from the Bible, ancient times, ancient Stoic philosophies. And at the end, we hope that you all feel blessed and fulfilled by this podcast. As promised last time, today we're going to be talking about the qualities of what makes a great leader. Because when you embark on a journey to become a great leader, first you have to understand the qualities you need for you to transform yourself to become that person that you need to become in order to attain that level of excellence, success, and leadership that you desire to attain. And why is that important? The Bible said something that a man shall only be transformed by the renewal of his mind. So that means if you're trying to become successful, it's not about the fame or the money that you made from being successful. It's about who you become that defines your success. And you cannot become somebody unless you adopt some new habit, unless you adopt some new qualities, some new traits that you then practice and makes you become transformed. So, in our list of 11 qualities that makes you a great leader and that leads you into the path of success in life, we have vision. So why is visionary a very important key when you're talking about leadership? Why is vision important? Well, when you have vision, you have a purpose. Your vision is your sense of purpose. It's the reason why you do what you do. Your vision attached with your why. Why do you want to do what you do? Why are you passionate about what you do? For example, now, I got into these podcasts and speeches because I have a vision of transforming people's life, of transporting the wisdom that I've gained over the years with my struggles and my journey and the things that the Lord has taught me via His Word, the Scripture. And I desire to help people with these lessons. People might be going through the same situations, and that is my vision. And why do I do it? Because I have the passion to transform life. I have the passion to see people becoming successful, to see people becoming great leaders. That so we can transform other people's life. There's a saying by this great admiral of the U.S. Navy. They said, when you change one person, that one person goes and change 10 other people. And each of those one person change another 10 other people. Before you know it, you changing one person's life has changed of over 100,000 people's life. So your why is what keeps you going. When you have vision, you develop discipline, you develop focus, you develop consistency. Because of your vision, you're not laying around. Your vision is what sets you aside from other people that has no vision. I like to use this analogy as an example. Take, for example, a sailor going down the coast of the Pacific Ocean without a destination. First of all, the sailor would not even know the amount of fuel he needs to carry on board should in case the ship runs out of fuel because he has no destination. And what will happen? He will go around and round and round, and sooner or later he runs out of fuel and is going to sink. Whereas a sailor going down the ocean with a destination and for a reason is prepared for whatever will come because he knows the journey, he knows how long it's going to take to arrive at the destination, and therefore he prepares ahead of that. It prepares with discipline. It prepares mentally for all he's going to face. It prepares for all he's going to face to ensure that he hits the goal. And how does this translate into organizational leadership? When an organization has vision, when a leader has get alignment with the vision. Now, everybody come to work for a sense of purpose, for something they are trying to achieve. And what does that do? It helps them settle all their differences. There was a research that was made by a Navy SEAL leader. The title of the book was Taking Ownership. And he said, apparently he's a consultant, by the way. He said whenever he goes to visit organizations and try to give them advice on certain things, he said that most organizations that have a sense of vision, he said there is usually very less fight going on within those organizations. Whereas the one with no vision, they have all the time around to argue, to, pinpoint every little differences they have because they don't have anything that they are fighting for. Whereas when there is vision in an organization and the leader is able to transport that vision to the mind of his follower, they are able to commit to one another for the fulfillment of that one goal. With vision as a leader comes your ability to identify what is going on within your organization consistently and reassess and ensure that everybody is in alignment towards achieving that vision. So, a recap, what does vision do for you as a leader? With vision comes the reason why you do what you do. And when you know the reason why you do what you do, when you're hungry so much for it, you're not there trying to be proud and trying to put every other person down. You're there trying to do the best you can, improve yourself and learn to ensure that you achieve your vision, which makes all the difference, keeps you in alignment. So, secondly, we have great leaders, successful people are lifelong learners. Now, there was a article that was shared to me by one of my mentor. A friend of mine is the CEO of the Lifetime Gym membership of Lifetime Gym. Probably don't know it, but he shared this article for me. And from that article, I saw the importance of lifelong learners, of how that helps to be a leader, a great leader, and be successful. I myself, I have that trait. I have the desire and inspiration to always want to learn. But I never understood in the past how that translated into my ability to be successful in anything I do. You see, when you're a lifelong learner, when you are open to learn with guided principles, obviously, because not everything out there is a good information. They say too much information can corrupt the mind. There's good information, there's bad information. So you have to have the ability to filter those information and utilize only the ones that are useful for you towards your journey while being open-minded as well. So lifelong learners are open-minded. With open-mindedness comes humility, the acknowledgement of the fact that you don't know everything, you don't have all the answers. You are open to learn. You seek to improve your wisdom, your knowledge. You seek to learn from people, from materials. And what does that do? That helps you to grow in wisdom, helps you to grow in knowledge, helps you to grow in skills. And when you grow in skills, in wisdom and knowledge, you become valuable. And when you're a valuable person, you command respect anywhere you go. Now, how does it translate into organizational leadership? You see, when you work within a team of people and you're a learned person, you appear to understand and to know your stuff. Even with that, you still are open-minded to receive the opinions, suggestion that your team member have. You would automatically, based on human psychology, command their respect. They would respect you, and when a leader is respected, commitment comes. There's a difference between being feared and respected. When you're feared as a leader, you only bring, you know, you only bring compulsion. That is, people are just only following your orders because they fear you. And what does that mean? They are not giving you their best. Whereas when you command commitment because they respect you, there you see people giving you their all. So when you are a learned person as a leader, you're able to, number one, learn from people. you're able to accept the ideas of your team members. And what does that mean for them? It means that they feel valued, they feel included, they feel like they belong in the team, in the community or organization. And this, what it does to them is give them a sense of responsibility. Now they themselves, they will start going to work more hard to develop themselves to ensure that they are giving you credible information. And you as a leader, you filter that information while already listening to everybody, include your own, and then make the decision. So that is the value of lifelong learners. It opens you to greater opportunities, to greater horizon. It increases your value. And based on the law of the universe, when your value is more to the society and to the world, so is your price, is your tag, is your respect and your dignity increased. Now, the next trait we have here is taking responsibility. What is the importance of taking responsibility as a leader or as a person who is pursuing success in life? You see, the world is filled of so many people who like to blame others for their circumstances, who like to blame others for their misfortune or their result. Whereas when from yourself to that circumstances and that other person that you're blaming. So that means that person and that circumstances have power over you. And that means you become a slave to them. But when things happen, whether it's your fault or not, when you take responsibility, you take back the power. And when you take back the power, it means you now have the ability to shape your future, to shape your results. You might not be the cause of why the problem happened. Now, let's use this analogy. Let's say the economy is bad, right? And because of that, you lost your business, you lost your job, you lost everything, right? Going to be good or not. There are millions of people, billions all over the world, and you're not in the minds of the people making the decisions that affect the economy. That is totally out of your control. However, what you can control is what you do after that. The economy went down, and because you were not prepared, you acknowledge that fact, or whether it's your fault or not, you acknowledge the fact that, okay, the business is down, economy is down. Now you have two decisions. You can either sit down there complaining and blaming the economy, give the government and the economy the power over you, and slave your life in poverty and mediocrity. However, or you can decide to understand the fact that though you are not the cause of why the economy went haywire, belly up, however, whatever decision you make from here makes all the difference. The decision to recognize what went wrong and what could be done better and take action towards that. The decision to analyze opportunities that are apparent in these circumstances. You see, there is something I understand in the Bible and with my work with God. Whenever God sends circumstances to you, whenever God sends problems or misfortune to you, they were never there to destroy your life. Now, you will never identify the opportunity between that storms unless you face it head on. And to face it head on, you have to assume ownership of the situation. You have to take responsibility of what happened. When you acknowledge that you are not the cause, but whatever happens from now henceforth is in your result and what comes out of that situation. That is the power of taking responsibility and ownership. In the sense of a leader, if things go wrong within your team, there's always a saying. Most organizations and leaders will say, well, this one didn't do their job well, that one didn't do their job well. You know, this one screwed up, that one screwed up, and all that. It is easy, very obvious to blame your team members or your followers for not doing their job well. But have you ever find out that maybe I, the leader, did not give them the right information enough? Maybe the information was too complicated. The order was too complicated for them to follow. But you are never going to find out where you yourself as faulty unless you acknowledge the fact that though they might be faulty in one way or the other, but you are the leader and you are the one that shaped this organization. You are the one that leads this organization to success. And therefore, you look within yourself and you start scanning, okay, what did I do wrong? What could I have done better to make these people do their job well? Maybe in the process of doing that, you find out that, and after your study, Maybe that person was not in the right place they belong. Their skills was not you carry them, you switch them to another position. Maybe you realize that the information you shared was not simple enough for them to be understood. You do what? You enforce simplicity in transporting your information, and you develop a mechanism that ensures that your team members understand the goal, the purpose, just as you understand it. An example of this is
Before you watch this exclusive,
U.S. Army. You see, when the U.S. Army want to go to war, they bring all the subordinate leaders into a briefing, and then they brief the information, and then they ensure that every man understands the mission. Because if the mission is not understood down to the frontline soldier, people are going to die. So, taking ownership and responsibility is very important as a leader. Now, the next trait, which is the fourth trait we have on the list, is optimism. As a leader, your attitude during the time of famine. Now, famine in the Bible is a time of drought where there is, scarcity of resources and maybe scarcity. An example of that is during Egypt. And David was an example, sorry, Joseph was an example of a leader that led Egypt out of famine based on the vision that the Lord gave to Pharaoh and giving him the gift to interpret that vision. So, as a leader, your ability to stay positive, even when everything around you is ringing problem, famine, disaster, your ability to stay still and stay positive in your ability to reshape the situation is very important. Let's use this analogy. For example, you you went for an exam or something and you failed that exam, right? Everything there will start screaming failure, 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 failure. And once you acknowledge that you are a failure in your mind takes that reality and sends some kind of chemicals around your body that makes you weak and makes you limit yourself. Whereas when you understand that, again, taking ownership of the situation because you probably didn't study well enough, or probably because there's always something that you're probably missing. And then when you now believe that, okay, through these circumstances, you've got to learn something that you can do better next time. You've got to learn something about life. You take this knowledge that you've gained and you give yourself a positive outlook. You give yourself a confidence that I can change this situation. I'll use an example for you. You see, a couple years ago, when I was taking a class, right, I was having a D in this class at some point. And then my professor, every other people in the class was blaming the professor. They were like, oh, she can't teach. She's messed up. She's this, she's that, she's that. First of all, I almost got consumed by that spiral. You see, when I first believed the professor was screwed up, guess what? My mind wasn't thinking. I was at some point thinking maybe I just don't know it. I'm not just good enough and stuff. But when I understood the fact, I came across this book, Taking Ownership. That thing rejuvenated my mind and understand that this situation could either break me or make me, but it mostly depends on what I do after that. So rather than seeing the professor as a screwed up person, I changed my mind. I became positive. I said, maybe this is an opportunity for me to learn this class very well, for me to learn about circuits better. And so I went to meet the professor. I took responsibility for my action. I went to meet the professor. I told her, I said, ma'am, can I do better to win this class? I told her, I said, I am not here after grades. I just want to learn. I believe that this class is useful for me. I changed from the negative attitude. I took responsibility and began being positive, believing that I could change my situation. I believed in my ability to change the situation. And I prayed to God. I read, I took advantage of every office hours this lady had, and I will go and study every time. And guess what? At the end of the semester, I went from a D student to an A student in the class. I had 90 something. That is an example of being positive in a situation where everything seems negative. Now, indeed, the lady had some screw up. She probably didn't, she was not really good at teaching. But in one-on-one section, when you go meet her, she's actually a very great teacher. If I didn't take ownership and if I didn't believe in myself, which is optimism, to be able to change that circumstances, I probably would have ended up with a D. Your mind is a very powerful tool, and when it's utilized properly, it can shape your life. So, as a leader, you believe in your ability that though the situation may be critical, you accept reality, but yet you keep a positive mindset, a positive outlook to believe that I can change this situation. Though it might take time, but it's going to happen. Let me share with you a Bible quote that supports this analogy. You see, there was a lesson that I learned from the Bible in the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 11, verses 3 to 5. It said, and this was a teaching by King Solomon. It said, if clouds are full of water, they pour rain on the earth. Whether a tree falls to the south or to the north, in the place where it falls, there it will lie. It said, whoever watches the wind will not plant. Whoever looks at the cloud will not reap. As you do not know the depth of the wind or how the body is formed in a mother's womb, so you cannot understand the work of God, the maker of all things. While I was meditating on that short quote, I took a deep journey in the realm of the spirit. And the Holy Spirit began to teach me the wisdom hidden behind that quote. And what is behind that quote is that, you see, there is a law that governs this world. And the law states that there is no right timing for anything as a human being to start something. Many of you will say, oh, maybe in my 45, I will start shaping my life to be a great leader because apparently I am not good enough. Maybe the situation is so bad, I don't think I'm ever going to be able to make it. And if you know that King Solomon said that whoever looks at the wind will not plant. What does that mean? If you are waiting for things and circumstances to line up before you plant, you will never going to plant because the wind never tells you when it's going to plant. The rain sucks up water every day, sucks up water every day, but you don't know when it's going to rain. The people who study weather, they try to predict accurate. The weather give them a surprise. So it's life. Life is full of surprises. If you are all there complaining and giving negative situation all the time, you will not act. And if you don't act, your life will rot in mediocrity. So you never know when the rain is going to fall, but the rain sucks up water. The cloud sucks up water all the time. And all of a sudden, it rains. So that means that whatever your dream is, whatever your goal is, regardless of the circumstances, start now. Take action. Believe in your ability to shape your result. The Bible says, I have given you life and death, but choose life. It is your choice. And for you to make that choice, you have to be optimistic. You have to believe. In the book of Hebrews, chapter 11, I believe, it said, I'm going to look that up. Book of 11, Hebrews 11, verses 1, it says, now faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. That is in strong alignment with optimism. You never know how it's going to turn out, but just act. Take action. There is a law that states when the rain sucks up water, whether it takes 1 year before it falls, surely it will release that water. So that means regardless of how long it takes, so long you start, surely you will succeed. So long you don't give up, surely the tree will fall to the north. Let it start falling today, regardless if it's going in the direction of north, that's where it's going to fall. North is going to change that. That is a law of the universe. So surround yourself with positivity. Be optimistic. Believe in your ability to change situation. When there is negativity all around the place, understand that that storm is not there to destroy you. It's only there to build you. It's there to make you discover more about yourself, to bring out the greatness in you. That is why it's there. Now, the other part we have is courage. Courage is very crucial. Courage here is the fifth on our list. As a leader, you have to be courageous. I can't emphasize that enough. You have to be courageous. Now, let me give you a word of the scripture from the book of Habakkuk. For the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak and not lie. Though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come. It will not tarry. Behold, his soul which is lifted up is not upright in him, but the just shall live by his faith. What does that tell you? That though it might take time, whatever your vision is might take time, but it will surely come to pass. But in order to take action towards that vision, you need courage. All of these qualities, they intertwine with each other. Taking responsibility, vision, optimism, courage, you need them. You can't do without one of them. You need them. When you become optimistic about a situation, you need courage to even take action. Your courage is what takes you from your comfort zone to the sky to fly. An eagle has a decision at some point in its life. They get so old to the point that they have to rebet themselves. And how do they do this? They break their beak, they share their feathers, and they go up high the mountain and try again to give themselves a new life to live long. They will either go through all that pain or they will die. So your life is like an eagle. You will either take that boldness, that courage to take that step of faith towards that goal, that dream, that vision that you have as a leader, as an individual, to transform your life, to build a wealth, a dynasty for your family, to change the lives of people, to invent that solution. It will never look like it's going to happen at the beginning, but just trust in God. Have faith, trust your God, keep trying, and take that boldness. You need boldness, your courage. It is what pushes you to act when everything else is telling you to stay behind. Now, the next on our list is industriousness. Now, industriousness was taken from Coach Wooden. I read a book about Coach Wooden. Now, Coach Wooden was a ULCA coach, of a very great coach of his time. And it taught something about leadership, the qualities, the pyramid of success. So this industrials was taken out of the pyramid of success of Coach Wooden. Now, industriousness is a same word for hard work. Working hard is another thing that great leaders have and successful people have. If you're ever going to be successful, you have to understand that life will not hand you the cake. Life will not hand you the pie. You got to pay the price. And for you to pay the price, you got to work for it. You got to work hard for it. It's not going to come easy. This is where hard work comes in. Nobody's going to hand you the silver spoon. Nobody's going to hand you the medal. If you demand anything from life, the sky is available for as many champions as possible. But are you willing to pay the price? Are you willing to work for it? Are you willing to go after it? Are you willing to put in the grind for it? You know, depend regardless of what stage you are at your life right now, you will still have hope. You still have an opportunity to shape anything, to shape your result. You can be anything you want. That's what I learned from the Bible. You can be anything you want. It's a decision. The Bible said something. It said the rich and poor, God made them both. It's about your length of sight, your vision. It's you who has the ability to transform your life. God gives you opportunity, but if you don't take it, it's gonna leave you. So hard work is very important. Your ability to work hard, to take action, to consistently grind and grind and grind is very important. And how does that help you as a leader running an organization? You see, if you as a leader are not willing to go to the war front, to grind, you know, to pay the price, to struggle, and you expect your team to follow you, you're joking. They would not. They will follow you. They will quit on you. But there is this energy, this enthusiasm that comes into the picture when you as a leader put yourself at the forefront. When you join them in the grind, you prove to them that you are not alone. I am with you, and I will go before you. What does that does? It creates an environment of people who are passionate, who commit. Now they know that you got their back. So therefore, they'll be willing to give anything to support you in your journey towards your success of your organization. So hard work means putting yourself, you know, going there first, putting yourself at the front line, paying the price, grinding, and doing everything you need to be successful. It's not going to be easy, but it is something that life demands if you want to become successful. There is a scripture from the book of Proverbs. I'm going to look for it here real quick, and I'm going to share it. So it says, is Proverbs 14 verses 23. All hard work brings a profit, but mere talk leads only to poverty. And there are some people that say, today I'm going to do this. Tomorrow I'm going to do that. Next tomorrow I'm going to do that. Tomorrow never ends. There's always a tomorrow. There's always going to be tomorrow. Tuesday 2019 is gone forever, but there's always a Tuesday in the cosmos. When are you going to take action? When are you going to put on the work? The Bible says that in the book of Proverbs, surely you will receive profit when you put in the work. And that comes with optimism again. Optimism. You would definitely reap what you sow. However, if you don't sow anything, there will be nothing for you at the time of harvest. So put in the work, grind hard, and put yourself at the forefront. And automatically, you command respect, commitment among your team members. And you yourself, you will see the result that you will produce. Now, the next skill we have here is putting others first. There is a scripture that says that if any of you want to become first, then he has to become last. You have to serve others. The Bible encourages us to live a life of service as a leader. You see, some time ago, I was thinking about wealth. I have this passion to help people and to make a lot of difference in the world. I don't like it when I see people begging on the street and don't have an opportunity for themselves. It breaks my heart. And so at a very young age, many years ago, I was fueled by a passion to make a lot of money so that I can help people. I just wanted to bring people out of poverty. But I understood one thing as time went by. After studying over 50 books and reading stories, learning, going to seminars and learning things about successful people, about companies and CEOs, I realized that what did get these people going was their desire to serve the world, their desire to create a solution for the world's problem. If you're gonna make a difference in the world, if you're actually gonna acquire that wealth and that mansion and everything you want, you have to first of all forget about yourself. Forget about chasing after your own selfish desires and pocket first. You have to think about others. When you think about others, you are able to identify the problems that people are facing. When you identify the problem that people are facing, then you would know how to be of service to the universe, to the society. The people who have become successful today, they created solution, and their solution was very valuable to the society. And without them even expecting it, they became successful, billionaires overnight. Some people met that launched their company public and boom, they became huge multi-millionaires. And then people look and say, oh, they're lucky. It happened overnight. No, it did not. They went through years of self-denial, of discipline, of hard work, of serving others. So as a leader, you have to have the mindset that if you want people to work for you, if you want people to commit to you, then you have to put them first above yourself, and they'll replicate the same thing in your team. Just imagine this. I'm working with you, right? And every time I am always after my own profit and my own benefit. I don't care about you. You're just like a number in my paper. Would you ever commit to me? Never. You will also be chasing after your own personal profit. You are only complying with me. You're not committed to me. Thus, you're not looking at my back. Even if somebody tried to steal my idea, somebody tried to kill me, you don't care because I never cared for you. Whereas, if I cared for you, if I pour love in you, commitment to you, if I prioritize yourself ahead of me and you're above me, what will you do? You pat my back too. I believe you're a good person. You watch my back too. That is a ripple effect. So as a leader, put others first before yourself. Don't go after, don't go there chasing for selfish goals and selfish desires. You would never achieve it. Even if you achieve it, you'll go back to poverty. It's going to be achieved at an expense of people's life. And at the end of the day, you will not feel fulfilled. You'll feel useless. But when you put people first, while also that now when I mean put people first, I don't mean go kill yourself for people. That's not what I'm saying. But while also considering your own profit, you understand all it takes and understand that people are not just numbers. People are also an asset for you. While they're an asset for you, you also have to be an asset for them, which is putting them first and serving them. When you put others first before you, you build an organization of trust. You show to them that you care for them. You show to them that you care about them. You are willing to invest in their growth. You are willing to transform them. You are willing to see them excel as a person. You're willing to see them better their life and their family. And as a result of that, you will gain their trust. You gain their loyalty. And when you gain their trust and loyalty, guess what? They will drive your organization to success. So now the next thing we have here is skills. How does skills come into place? It is good to have all these interpersonal skills, when it comes to leading from the heart. When you're talking about leading from the heart, you're talking about being courageous, you're talking about taking responsibility, you're talking about being lifelong learner, being humble and stuff. But skills also comes very, very handy. And if you are not a lifelong learner, you cannot improve your skills. Your skills is what make people trust in your ability, in your competence to even be able to lead and direct their life. When you're not competent in what you're doing, nobody trusts you. It's a natural thing of humans. If you claim that you can do this and yet when it comes to action, you're there screwing everything up. So as a leader, you have to consistently invest in your growth, in your skills, in your development of your technical skills, whatever field you are. Continue to build your knowledge on that. It's not just only about building yourself as a human being, it's also about building your skills, your technical skills in your particular field. And that will make them trust you. Learning every aspect of your organization is very important. So when things become a problem, you're not ignorant. You know what to do because you are also experienced in that field. The next now we have is strategic planning. Now, there is a quote in the Bible that talks about strategic planning. I'm going to pull that up shortly. Okay, I'm not sure where it went, but this Bible verse is in the book of Proverbs. It said that when you plan and then you seek counsel and guidance, surely you shall win the war. What does that mean? When you plan by seeking counsel, seeking advice from people, again, this comes from the aspect of lifelong learners. Lifelong learners, as we said, leads you to being an open person. It makes you to be able to learn from people, to seek advice, to understand that you don't know it all. And this helps you so much in strategic planning. Because imagine going to a war front without no plan. You don't know what you are going to face. You don't even know what the enemy's boundary looks like. You don't even know how the terrain looks like. What is the chance that you are going to succeed? Very flat, you fail. But when you strategically plan, maybe an economic bubble burst is coming. When you plan towards it, you will come out successfully. How do you plan strategically? You study cause, you study effect, you study historical pattern, you study current patterns, you use your own instinct and mind and data as well to predict what is going to happen in the future, and you prepare towards it. And guess what this does? It puts you at the top of your competition to be able to address whatever situation that might come. When others are saying there's a casting down, when others are buckling under pressure, there you are, flourishing and excelling because you were prepared. You planned ahead of time. And so, just a recap of all we talked about today. We talked about putting others first. We talked about visionary. We talked about taking responsibility. We talked about optimism. We talked about lifelong learners. We talked about uh, industriousness, skill, strategic planning. So now there is still two more. We have self-control. Self-control is very important. That's why I put it close to the ending. Self-control is very, very important. There's a saying that you can build your skills for 20 years, but ruin everything in 1 second. I'm sure that, like, wow, that's crazy. Oh, yes, it's for sure crazy because people are watching you. People are studying your move. People are studying your attitude. There are some people who are opportunists and they are looking for every little opportunity to screw you up and to bring you down. And there are some people who are watching at your attitude, either to give you opportunity or to see if they're going to continue to commit to you. If you're that kind of person who has zero control over their emotions, over their actions, if somebody offends you, you just lash out in anger. If your team offends you, you curse them out, or maybe you fire them right away and stuff. Trust me, nobody's going to respect you. You're like a dangerous man loosed without zero control. They can't even predict your action. And what does this happen? There won't be trust. You don't become reliable. People can't rely on you. People can't trust you. You lose people commitment. Self-control is very important. And to have self-control, you have to be patient. There's a saying by Marcus Aurelius that the outside circumstances don't have the ability to affect you. What have the ability to affect you is your response. It's your perception. It's what really creates the meaning. There's this book I read. It's titled The Seven Laws of the Mind. And there was a teaching that says, I think that is under the law of substitution or under the law of relaxation, that perception, that is thoughts, feelings, is what affect the picture that you mental picture you built about situation, which ultimately affects your action. If you are the kind of person that people can easily influence you by their action, that tells you that you don't have power over yourself. People have power over you. Outside circumstances have power over you. But here's the good news. You can regain that power today. And how can you regain that power? By learning the act of self-control. You have to understand that not everyone is like you. So therefore, you have to have the patience to be able to put yourself in people's shoe to understand where they are coming from or the reason why they make their action. You have to understand that sometimes people action towards you is not really about you. It's about them. Maybe it's an hurt that is within them, and what you said innocently trigger them, and they act the way they acted. So self-control is very, very important. If you're losing yourself every time around your team member, and if you're buckling under pressure, you will lose trust from people, you will lose commitment from your team members. So learn the art of self-control, to be still even within the storm, because your mind can only process one thought at a time. You can't process two thoughts. So, and for your mind to function at its best, it has to be calm. When you're when you are always shaking all the time under pressure, you do not sustain the ability to make sound decisions. That is why you have to learn the art of self-control. And so the next year, which is the last of all the skills we have, is integrity. Now, integrity is a very powerful of one of all, which is why I summarized it and put it at the last. As a person of integrity, you understand that life is not about pursuing only goals, visions, but you also have to consider your actions, the things you do. Though the person you show yourself to be outside, is it the same person that you are behind the doors? Are you able to pursue your goals, your dreams, and your cause with honesty and being true to yourself? Are you able to make the right decision and stand up for what is true and what is right? Are you able to speak against things that do not align with your principles and values? If you lack those things, then you don't have integrity. Integrity is your ability to stay true to yourself, to stay true to what is right, to fight for what is right, to make a right decision. What is right differs in different situations. But there's a saying that there's no right or wrong answer. I believe there's a right way. to do things and there's a wrong way to do this based on the law of effect, cause and effect. So to summarize this up, ensure that you maintain integrity, honesty, purity in everything you do as a leader, and that will make all the difference. And thank you guys for sticking this long with us. That summarized the qualities of what it takes to be a great leader and to be a successful individual today. So, in the next episode, we are going to be talking about the law of the mind, which is mindset. So please ensure to tune in again to us and come and learn about the power of the mind. I'm so excited to talk about this because I have been studying the mind now for a lot of years and I've harnessed the power of the mind to produce a lot of results for myself personally. And it just fascinates me the power of this machine, this great creature, or whatever you can call it, that is in between our two ears. Every time I'm always amazed by the power that God harnessed into our mind. And as I grew and understand more about life through my experiences, I began to understand again what the Bible says a man shall only be transformed by the renewal of his mind. So the mind is very powerful, and we're going to talk about it in the next episode. Thank you once again for sticking with us today. Remember the qualities of what makes a great leader and and a successful individual. I want you to go and rewatch this episode over again until you harness these qualities in yourself and become a great leader, become a successful individual. Do not forget to like our videos on YouTube. Leave a comment, give us feedback of what you learned from this and what you think we can do better to better serve you. And again, follow us on Instagram, follow us on our channels, listen to us on Spotify, listen to us on Apple Podcasts, like everything. And we promise that as we continue to bring great contents to you, to shape your morals, to shape you as a great leader, that you will be able to give testimony to the profound transformation that you're going to undergo and what God is going to use us to do in your lives. So stay tuned. Again, our contact information is proverbialminds@gmail.com. If you have any question or have any suggestion, please feel free to shoot us an email. Again, please, it's only for professional purposes. And so we respect your time and we also respect our time. So please send us your questions or whatever that you have, regarding this podcast on the proverbialminds@gmail.com. And again, thanks you once again for taking your time to be here with us today. This is your host for the Proverbial Minds channel, Samuel. Peace out.